What's up, you guys? My name is Aubrey and this is my channel, and today we're going to be speaking about the EIDL grant and the EIDL loan program. And more specifically, I'm going to be talking about what it means if you're somebody who was denied on the basis of having unverifiable information. I'll be talking about what this denial means, what you can do if you receive this denial, and how you can increase your chances of possibly still receiving the grant and the loan if you're somebody who received this denial notice. So let's get started. Over the last few weeks, I've received a lot of reports from people who have been denied access into the EIDL loan and grant program on the basis of having their information being unverifiable. And the thing that is super frustrating about this entire denial process is that whenever recipients receive this denial, their notice is extremely vague, and all it states is that their information was unverifiable. The denial notice itself does not give any details on what exactly is unverifiable, which means that the applicant is left to their own interpretation on what information needs to be verified. And it could be anything from a business entity, the existence of a business itself, banking information, or really anything involving the application as a whole. And so this has left people really confused and really lost as to what steps they need to take in order to appeal their loan decision. So if you're somebody who received a denial on the basis of having your information being unverifiable, the first thing that you need to do is you need to call the SBA. More specifically, call SBA Tier 2. I will include a link to the SBA number in the description below. You can check that out there. But whenever you call this number, right whenever an SBA representative picks up the phone, don't even waste your time talking to them. The first thing you need to ask for is to be connected with a Tier 2 representative. The general representatives with the general SBA hotline are not helpful. They are just people who have been hired on the spot in order to accommodate for the influx of calls given to the SBA. And so if you want to speak to somebody who can actually pull up your account, they actually know what they're talking about, and they can actually be helpful, then call and ask specifically for a Tier 2. Do not even waste your time with a normal representative. Once you get connected to a Tier 2 representative, you are going to need to ask them what information needs to be verified. Now, the verified information could be literally anything. In some cases that I've heard about, it's as simple as providing accurate banking, account, and routing information to the representative who can then update your file. But in some cases, it's something that's a little bit more complicated than that, and you're going to have to prove the existence of your business as a whole. And so it's important to get connected to this Tier 2 representative and to ask them what information needs to be verified. That way you can move on to step 2. Once you've contacted a Tier 2 representative and you've figured out what information is unverifiable, it is now your duty to verify that information. And you will need to do that through an appeals and a letter of reconsideration process. Now, I have created a lot of videos on how to file an appeal and how to file a letter of reconsideration, so I will also include those videos in the description below as well. But whenever you are filing a letter of reconsideration, it's important to provide the information that needs to be verified. So if you are somebody who simply just needs to update your banking information, then in the letter of reconsideration, you will want to provide your accurate and updated bank information. So your mailing address, your name, and your routing and account number. But if you're somebody who needs to verify a little bit more intricate information, like an LLC existence, then you'll have to provide some different information. For example, you could provide Google listings, you could provide credit score for your business, you could provide the filing date of your LLC. If you're somebody that does not have an LLC, you just have a side hustle and you apply it under your social security number and you need to verify that information, then you could verify it by providing bank statements and showing that you have the income that you're claiming on the EIDL application. What you need to provide is going to be entirely dependent on what information is unverifiable to the SBA, and it's going to vary greatly from case by case. Now, once you speak to a Tier 2 representative and you have gathered the data that you need to gather in order to prove the information and verify your identity and your business and your side hustle, the next thing that you'll want to do is you'll want to send that information in the form of an appeal to the mailing address and the email provided in the link below. Now, there are a couple of different things that I want to note about the appeals process. First is that if you are sending an appeal via email, I have heard multiple reports stating that the email address that people are supposed to be sending the appeals to is full, and that whenever you send an email to the address, it comes back as undeliverable because the mailbox is full. So I have included a couple of different emails that you can try in the description below. These are different emails that I've heard from a number of different people that have seemed to be successful in filing an appeal. So I highly encourage you to send one email to each of those addresses to ensure that your appeal is received by the SBA. Secondly is I would also send a paper copy to the SBA. It definitely doesn't hurt in sending it. You ultimately have 6 months to file an appeal, and so it's better to have that kind of secondary option available to you by sending a paper copy via mail. So I will also include that physical address in the description below as well. Now, once you send off your appeal and once the SBA receives it, it will then take 1 to 2 weeks, sometimes even longer, for the SBA to give you a decision on your EIDL application. But it's important to understand that just because you filed an appeal and just because you verified your information does not mean that you're guaranteed to get either the grant or the loan portion of the EIDL program. There are a lot of people who are filling out the EIDL application under the premise that they're guaranteed to get the $1,000 grant, and that simply isn't the case. You can absolutely be denied the EIDL loan, the EIDL grant, or both for a number of different reasons, including not having a legitimate business or side hustle, not having financial difficulty due to COVID-19, and not making enough money before COVID-19 in order to qualify for the grant. So it's important to understand that even if you verify your identity, there is a chance that you will still be denied if you simply don't qualify. So you guys, I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I hope it gave you some valuable information on filing an appeal and figuring out why you're denied on the basis of having unverifiable information. So often when you're denied on this basis, it is simply a matter of miscommunication, and all you have to do is call the SBA, figure out what information needs to be verified, and then you can provide valid documentation. If you guys have any other questions regarding how to file an appeal, I will include that in the link to the description below. I also have an entire playlist on the main page of my channel titled Stimulus Packages, which show every single video I've made on stimulus packages since I started doing these types of videos back in May. And so if you have questions that you have not been able to find answers to, chances are I probably have covered that in a previous video. But like always, I would love to hear y'all's thoughts. Have you guys appealed a denial based on unverifiable information? If so, what was the outcome of that? I would love to hear whether or not you were approved or if you were denied again, and if you appealed that decision and how that turned out for you. So make sure to comment down below and I will respond to every single comment I can. And while you're at it, make sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell. I would greatly appreciate it, and I will see you guys in the next video.